Hello, welcome back to ASMR Storytime. Tonight I'm going to take you on a little adventure down to the flowers behind the old oak tree in the field behind my house. The flowers are Himalayan Balsam, a widely hated flower. However, it has a story to it, and it does actually have some good attributes, good things that it offers the environment. So here is the story of Himalayan Balsam. The tale of Himalayan Balsam, a plant with delicate pink blossoms, some white, some light pink, some darker pink, tall stems and leaves that dance. Once upon a time, this flower was not here in Britain at all. It grew only in the Himalayas, wild, free, blooming beside mountain streams where the air is thin and cool. No one knows exactly how it first arrived in Britain, but one story suggests its seeds may have travelled hidden inside balls of cotton brought over from India during the height of empire and trade. When the cotton was shaken loose along canals and riversides, so too were the seeds, and from those scattered beginnings the plant spread quickly into the landscape. It slipped through the veils of empire and began writing its own story here. The beauty. At first it was adored with its tall stems, its pink orchid-like blossoms, and its sweet perfume. It was seen as an exotic beauty, a jewel of the Himalayas. Gardeners planted it with pride. Children gathered the flowers in late summer, and riversides lit up with their delicate blooms. But beauty can deceive. The plant grew too well, too fast, too aggressively. Soon it began to push out native flowers. It took over riverbanks and meadows. It spread like wildfire. And so the beauty became the beast. Its very name tells us something of its spirit. genus is Impatiens, and Himalayan Balsam truly lives up to it. Touch its seed pods and they explode. Little green grenades of life. With a single brush of a fingertip, the pod curls back on itself, flinging its seeds far and wide. Impatient, eager, unstoppable. A plant that cannot wait. And yet, the story is not so simple. For in all its invasiveness, there are those who now defend it. In a world where bees are in decline, Himalayan Balsam offers abundant nectar, a deep, rich well of sweetness. On fading riverbanks where other flowers have vanished, bees find refuge in its blossoms. It has become, strangely, an unlikely ally. So here it is, the paradox of Himalayan Balsam, a plant both loved and hated, a beauty and a beast, a curse and a cure. It reminds us that nature rarely fits neatly into our labels, and that sometimes what we fear can also heal. What we try to banish can also sustain, and how nature finds her own cure. So next time you see those tall pink flowers swaying along a riverbank, remember their story, a journey from the Himalayas to here, a tale of beauty, impatience, invasion, and unexpected grace. The story of the Himalayan Balsam. The flowers are hooded, curved, hanging like little bonnets. This way in summer breezes. The smell is sweet, honeyed, faintly musky. The stems are sticky, whereas the petals are soft. When I was younger, I used to live on a farm, and I would make elderflower cordial with flowers growing around the edges of the farm, and add fizzy water to the cordial and drink it using straws from the Himalayan Balsam. The flowers kind of glow in soft pink. The tail of the river maiden and the impatient flower. Long ago, when the rivers still sang to the hills, there was said to be a maiden of the water, a spirit who walked the riverbanks in a gown of flowing pink. She was as beautiful as midsummer itself, and her laughter was like bells ringing in the breeze, but she carried a flaw. She was impatient. She could not wait for the seasons to turn, or for love to bloom in its own time. When she desired something, she wished it instantly. The other spirits grew weary of her restless heart. So one evening, the queen of the fair folk came to her and said, "Since you cannot wait, you shall be bound to the earth. You will bloom in great beauty, but you will scatter yourself wildly, bursting at the smallest touch, never content to stay still." And so the maiden dissolved into thousands of seeds, which rained down upon the riverbanks, where each fell. A flower grew, tall, pink, delicate as an orchid, but quick to burst open, throwing itself into the world at the slightest brush. The people came to call it the impatient flower. Yet, though the maiden had been cursed, she still held a secret blessing light.